We decided then to do a launch in Liverpool because that was the first conference, and Liverpool felt like a good place to do it because there's a lot of families from Liverpool affected by the law. So we went up there, we got sweatshirts, people bought sweatshirts. We launched 200 balloons, there were 160 red ones, 40 white ones, the white ones for the prisoners who hadn't contacted us yet, which is quite prophetic because we now have 200 prisoners. We then went on and had a conference in the evening which was about people who'd been affected by the law speaking about it and how they wanted to have their cases retrospectively looked at. I mean, that's one of the main things everybody wants, because if you're against the CCRC or if you're up against being knocked back on appeal, the joint enterprise law is very difficult to address because they just say it's joint enterprise.
My opinion of the law of joint enterprise is that it's likely to capture people who have no intention of committing the crime for which they're charged and then ultimately prosecuted. And it is too wide in the way in which it is used to drag people who may have been at the scene in order to find the person who committed the actual crime.
What people need to understand, and what you can see when you look at every single joint enterprise case that comes to JENGbA, is that the victims of the miscarriage of justice will all tell you that the evidence used against them was very, very weak. And most members of the public believe that if you go to prison for murder, then the evidence has to be concrete. They've got you banged to rights. So what people now need to realise and understand is that there is virtually no evidence in a lot of these cases. It's kind of hearsay and opinion, and it's not concrete evidence, and that's what allows joint enterprise to convict so many people.
JENGbA recognises that the law of joint enterprise is a complex law that needs to be debated in Parliament as a matter of urgency. And until that time comes, it will continue to raise awareness, support families and campaign on behalf of prisoners who are serving time for a crime they did not commit.
The long-term goals for JENGbA are again born out of need. Lots of prisoners need advice, they need good legal representation, and that's something that we didn't necessarily as a campaigning group know we were going to have to provide. But with cutbacks in legal aid, prisoners are not getting even advice about how to progress through the system. And we can signpost, but what I'd really, really like is actually we become an in-house advisory thing. We can get lawyers on, young lawyers who want to get involved in miscarriage of justice, that want to help us.
I think it's very important that young members of the legal profession take this issue up, because it is quite clear that the legal establishment has a contrary view. As I said, they have been tended to widen the scope of joint enterprise rather than narrowing it as it should be. It's
still going to be about an awareness, and it's still going to be about inviting new joint enterprise prisoners to contact us. But it's about trying to get law change, because law change is crucial for people who are doing such long sentences for something they didn't do. We're a grassroots group that wants to raise an awareness of this law because there's a huge ignorance about it. And the more and more families that found out that there was a campaign that wanted to highlight it, the more they asked to become part of the campaign. So it's a grassroots that's had a groundswell.
I think if JENGbA are going to be successful, and we all hope that they will be, they do need to canvass across all those who are engaged in the law to understand what can be done, both to help those individuals who are the victims and being charged, and also being involved in campaigning to change the law.
When I spoke to Gloria, she's the first person that has given us a bit of hope.
She just has a fire in her belly that, you know, you just think, God, this woman's going to get something done here.
We've had quite a lot of information from Gloria about where we go to get this and where we go to get that, because
without it, we
would be
know
lost.
What to do.
We'd just be sitting there looking at each other going mad.
Absolutely, we wouldn't be able to do it on our own.
This is the only group I can turn to, really, because no one wants to come near me, you know, or listen to my side, our side of the story.
You always think you're the only one that's going through it. But because there are other people that are in the same boat as us and same situations, and it just helps a little bit, you know, if you can talk about it with each other and see what other people are, you know, where they're going and stuff like that. It's nice to know what's, you know, there's so many people out there trying to help.
When I went to the House of Commons, I was so touched to think that there was over 250 people there, all in the same, you know, same position that we are. And I thought we was fighting this alone, and we're not. And it sounds silly to say, but it's great to have other people with us, you know, to know that how we feel and where we want to go and what we want to be done about it.
I feel, first thing is that I'm not alone. There's other people in there, and you speak to them, it's like a family. You know, I have the same feeling when I'm sat in those meetings talking to the people for a couple of hours or something like that. And I get satisfaction out of it when you see people and they might tell you something where they went wrong or where we went wrong. If we knew all the things now, we'd have probably looked at the whole case totally in a different way.
What JENGbA has given to us, I think, is hope.
Yes.
That we now have hope that maybe a while off, but something will be done for Anthony. We know he's innocent, he keeps saying he's innocent, but everyone else was saying, well, there's nothing you can do, nothing you can do, he'd just have to serve his sentence. But JENGbA is pointing another way, and we are therefore hopeful, not just for Anthony, but for all the others.
I totally disagree with it, and I think if you speak to anybody in the right frame of mind will disagree with it. It needs to be changed. We need to get hold of our councillors to start off with, to start doing a campaign, then the MPs, and it needs to go to the House of Commons, and it needs to be changed because it's totally unjust and unfair.
The fact that there are so many people in the same situation proves to us anyway that it's totally wrong, and we are hoping that the more people that come forward that this is happened to, this touches, that the government will hopefully listen to it and realise the big mistake that they've made.
We was at our last meeting and their person had only been convicted 4 days ago and they got 26 years, and just to think that was 4 days ago and we're still here fighting and it's still going on and it's still going on, and it's sad, it really is. You don't want another family to be in the position you're in now.